Recently, Game Informer did a second interview with the directors of the Resident Evil 4 Remake, and they revealed quite a bit of new info. And that's what I'll be talking about today, so stick around because we're about to get straight into this. So in the interview, the developers stated that there will be a mechanic where you could quickly dodge enemy attacks. I'd imagine that this would work similar to the dodge mechanic from the RE4 Remake, just with a few minor adjustments. And then the developers stated that there will be multiple new ways to approach things in the RE4 Remake. So you could go with the stealthier approach where you sneak up on the enemies and then kill them, or you could form an entire strategy, or you could just go in guns blazing and kill the enemies that way. And yeah, you get the picture. There's many different ways that you could go about things in the RE4 Remake, rather than it just being a straightforward experience like most other games. And speaking of stealth, the developers stated that the bolt thrower weapon is actually intended to be used stealthily, and the developers purposely made it so the enemies can't hear where you are when you shoot them with the bolt thrower weapon. This is pretty cool, and since Capcom is focusing more on stealth for the remake, and they're also bringing back scrapped concepts from the original game, it's possible that we could see a silencer attachment for some of the weapons in the game. And then they talk about some things that were cut out of the game and replaced by other things during the game's development, with the first one being the QTEs, or the quick time events, which were removed and replaced by the knife parry attack. And the reason for this change is because the developers thought that QTEs are outdated, and they thought that there was so much more that you could do with a knife rather than just swinging it, and that they needed to add something more into the game. So they decided to add the knife parry and a couple other attacks, and they also made the knife a lot stronger than it was in the original game, with the only downside being that there are limited uses. And they were also gonna originally add a cooking element that was very similar to the one from Resident Evil Village, where you could collect food items from around the map and bring them back to the merchant, and he would cook them for you, and the different dishes that the merchant could cook would give you different special perks. But they decided not to add this to the Resident Evil 4 Remake, and instead they implemented the side quest feature where the merchant could give you side quests, and every time you complete one you get a special reward from the merchant. And the developers also stated that they made the horror elements from the original game a lot scarier in the remake, and the remake will be a lot more of a survival horror game than the original was. And limited ammo and knife usage are huge parts of the survival horror aspect of the game. And with that being said, that's about all we got for today, so see ya. Well, there you have it, guys, all the new Resident Evil 4 Remake news. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. And with all that being said, I'll see you all on the next episode of Bagels Battles!